And that brings us to another point about Ed, is that while he's not technical on the combo and execution level per se, although I personally would argue that he has some execution that is technical, his general move usage is extremely technical.
Apprentice Alley.
And
he's definitely a character where you can't just do what you want and expect it to work, because the design of him seems to be... There are a lot of characters in this game who, once they've hit you with a move, they like suck you in, the move lasts long enough for you to be auto-spaced. Ed only really has that for Psycho Knuckle. Everything else, your spacing matters a lot, and whether or not you can even combo matters a lot. There are not too many characters that can completely whiff their combos and make themselves get damaged because they did something from too far out.
right.
So in terms of things like knockdowns and rickies and all of those things, you have to know how to space all these things. And spacing is a difficult skill for most people to learn early in Street Fighter.
But I will say that as a grappler, as somebody who uses Jury, Armika, and Bison, all who have really nice throws and really nice stuff off knockdown of throws, I personally am not too bothered by the way his throw game works. The reason being, his throw is about putting you in the corner. Once you're in the corner, then Ed has options. He's very much like Armika in that way, except Armika's neutral game is a little more difficult for her to do.
If there is a problem you could say with Ed's throws, is that throws lead back into throws. If you just decide to down block, the only thing Ed can do the second time is throw you again. That doesn't help when you can eventually bait him into trying on a character who has like this, because when in this patch, for example, this move is still invincible, and it's safe. So basically, unless Jury has a way of dealing with you too quickly, it's really not in your interest to throw her a lot. Fortunately, once you've gotten the person used to being thrown a lot, you should get a mix-up. But on defense, that's kind of a problem. Because to have that mix-up, he would need a faster normal. He would need a way to beat these, which he doesn't fundamentally have.
Right, he has a 3-frame jab. There's that.
Well, he has a 3-frame light kick. He doesn't really have a 3-frame jab as far as we know, which is weird because you'd figure he would, but that is another thing about the design of the character that seems a little strange. They give characters that have 3-frame normals that easily start up things
It's go time.
are very powerful in a different way altogether, and it's easy for people to get used to being able to do things that are based on that. But when you say to them, well, here's a character without one,
Union Station.
sure, a lot of people get upset defensively, but defense isn't necessarily the problem,
Akuma.
as I'll attempt to demonstrate here. Akuma has his 3-frame jab, which basically means that when Akuma is on offense, he has a lot more options than most people. Simply doing his forward heavy punch, his leaping ground strike style attack, into that is free pressure.
Well, ain't you a high-def picture of strength? I'm shaking here.
And free pressure is something Ed does not seem to have a lot
Round
of.
one. Fight.
He has to space himself really well to get most types of pressure. And even worse, most characters light Shoryuken style is actually 3 frames.
Now, what I'm trying to show you at the moment is that we're downplaying Ed here a little bit. His meaty game, I expect, will be probably one of the stronger ones in this game. If I had to say that he's good at anything, it's probably his meaty pressure. And the only reason I will say that is because this move has 9 active frames. So if you don't know what that means, that basically means the part of the move that can hit someone and hurt someone is 9 frames. That's longer than probably any other sweep, except maybe like Colleen's.
Technically, Colleen's is in fact less than that in total.
Oh, really? So,
Yeah.
but the reason why this is nice is, one, it makes doing meaties easy. You can basically just stick out that button. It's -10 on block. But if you hit the person on the 9th frame, if you get good at hitting the person at the end of its active frames, it becomes safe on block.
It's go time.
Because the move says so. Basically. So,
Let's do this.
this is good. This is good for Ed, because it means the throw game that he does get off his throw loops, which he has, like Ken has throw loops. Ed also has throw loops because his dash is so good. But it means you have to be good at spacing, you have to be good at dashing, which not everybody is, and it makes you vulnerable to people like Akuma. Akuma has a Dragon Punch with invincibility. And as of the patch, his non-metered versions will have invincibility, which is a problem. Because, for one thing, it can anti-air, which Ed needs to jump a lot in order to get stuff going. But it also means that it makes doing this really risky. That trade was not good for Ed. That trade wasn't good for Ed, not because the damage was larger on his end than Akuma's, but the trade was bad because it pushed Ed back. And Ed doesn't want to be back. Ed's normals are stubby. If people complain about stubbiness in Street Fighter V, look at this move. You need to be point blank to use that move. I can be next to Akuma and not hit with that move. That's ridiculous. You need to be up close to him to use it. It's one of his best normals. It's +3 on block. It's only 6 startup. But in order for Ed to pressure, in order for him to get the opponent confused, get the opponent thinking, he needs to be up close. So the fact that his meaty can trade like that is not so hot for Ed. The fact that he can get anti-aired when trying to close in space by Dragon Punch users for relatively little cost to them also means that Ed is easy to keep on the ground.
Furthermore, Ed's crush counters don't really lead into too much. We thought it was going to be really strong when we realized, oh, his standing heavy punch crush counters. But it's a knockdown style crush counter. There's not a bunch of stuff you can do with it. The heavy kick is good, but what you're going to realize is that in most fights, Ed will be going up against light Shoryukens a lot. So you'd have to be absolutely expecting that. If you just throw that out mid-range, and you're not expecting it, you're not necessarily going to react in time with the heavy kick. Even though it has a decent startup, it's still 15 frames of startup. If I decide I'm going to block that after my random light Shoryuken, and you were not expecting a light Shoryuken, most likely you're going to get close to me, be blocked, and then I'll get to poke at you some more. So if you find that you get frustrated by being unable to put on pressure due to these other things, or difficulty spacing yourself because of the way Ed's buttons work, the best thing to do is probably to try a character whose buttons are much better at pushing you other people into positions that you want them in. Interestingly, Akuma is not specifically one of those characters. Akuma is one of the characters who's better at meaty pressure. So if you didn't feel, oh, once I've knocked someone down, I can't do anything to them, I don't feel good about that. If that's what frustrates you about playing Ed, then you could try Akuma. I mean, you'd think that he would need a lot of execution stuff, but that's only if you want to be flashy. There's a bunch of stuff that Akuma can do with single buttons, simple combos, that do quite a lot of damage, or at least keep on resetting the same situation where your opponent's knocked down. You get to throw them into the corner, you get to use Crouching Heavy Punch, which has not as many active frames as Ed Sweep, but it's safe, so you get really good pressure. But if we're not talking about meaty pressure, if we're talking about just keeping people pressured in a general way, Ed doesn't compare well to characters like Rashid.
So, the reason why I don't feel it would be fair to complain about Ed while wanting to play Ed is because his throw pressure means that he gets you into the corner relatively quickly. In fact, I would say that Ed can get you into the corner better than Armika in some cases. And Armika has rope throw. She can get you into the corner in one move. But his way of getting you into there doesn't cost meter like Rashid's does. And is safe, unlike Armika's. Once he's in the corner, he is as cool as a cucumber in some cases. But you can't autopilot. And I think that's what's gonna frustrate people a lot, is that Ed, for lack of a better expression, requires you to think hard. Because he is predictable, and because he's... yeah. Oh. Darn, I wanted to see if the tornado could get beaten by that. Oh well.
Oh.
That being said, I can just walk you into the corner with that. I'm pretty
Well,
sure...
actually, I'm not sure, because I was going to try to roll under it, but I have no Rashid experience, so I don't know where that would go.
Oh. Probably in the same situation, really. So, if you are going to get good at Ed, like, honestly, most of this game, you need to get good at spacing and corner pressure.